I see how wall comes down. My thoughts right now rotating. I hope that's not unsound. Trapped in isolation now. But I stay strong. Cause I know that this time will have an end. I wish I could survive that.
What's up, guys? This is Beat Baksho, and of course, you are watching Beats with Baksho, the podcast. Wow, man, we're already on our 27th episode. This is super amazing. I think I say that every episode. Already on this, already on whatever. You get it. This has been happening simply because of you guys. Yeah, I can see you. I think I can see you. Just whatever. If you think, just clap right now and drop some ashes in the comment section and shower some love, because right now we have Madox, who will be coming in on this side of the screen in just a little bit. Let me tell you quickly though, if you're watching this right now on someone's shared whatever profile thingy, just make sure you're watching it on the BeatBaksho page or the YouTube, because if you're commenting something, I can't read it elsewhere, so it has to be here, and I would like to see it on the screen, and definitely so would Madox. And of course, at the same time, at the end of the podcast, if you want to check out his social media link, it's in the description. You won't be confused. Just click and follow. And at the same time, we're going to talk about something really amazing that you can see right now on the screen, and my fingers following it. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Future Voice. So you can definitely check out the link, and everything where you can stream, everything will be there. So yes, big stuff's happening. Stuff is whatever, you get my point. Grammar Nazis, don't come after me. Wow, so cool, guys. Let's start this. And right now we have the one, the only. There is the one. There is just one Madox, anyways. So I can't really. Madox, what's up? Yo, yo, man.
Yo,
How's it going?
How you doing, man?
Yo.
I'm fine. You?
I'm definitely good, man. The NG, I just should have done it when you were just moving like that. You're like, ah.
I was like waiting. It's like, yo, when is gonna happen, man? No, it's fine. That's life, right? That's the life experience.
Most unexpected times, something just pops up. Like,
Yeah.
totally.
And bro, actually, you said there's only one Madox. There's actually two.
Well, there's one beatboxing Madox though.
Okay, I agree on that one. But there's like one Polish singer.
Okay.
And his name is Madox too. Same way to spell it.
The interesting part, now that you mention it, was when I was searching Madox, and his and yours came in, not his, by the way, his and yours came in, and I'm like, okay, Madox, because I've seen that before. And right beneath that, it says Madox likes. as you liked the page as well. I'm like, okay, it was just weird at the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
time.
We are actually chatting, and we even were thinking of doing a song together.
Maddox and Maddox,
Yeah,
dude.
because we were like, yo, that would be so funny, man. But we never picked, we never catch up again on this one. But I think one day there
That
will be
that would be that
just
would
for the
be
sake of
some.
it, right?
Yeah,
Madox
that would be
featuring Madox.
super. Like, wait, what? What? Anyways, guys, do check this out. It is happening right now on the BeatBaksho page and YouTube, and it's all over in a lot of places. You can find this in case you're watching and wondering where can I share it from. Go to Madox's story; it's there as well. It's in the Swiss Beatbox group as well, and everywhere wherever beatbox is happening. Yes, and you can ask questions, drop in your messages, love everything right now in the comment section. Ask Madox anything, but not anything. Just ask anything. And yeah, they're gonna have a good time. Maddox, there are typical questions that I want to get rid of. That the interview. Hi, what's your
Yeah.
name? Where did it come from? So that's kind of like the early stage of the podcast. Then we'll go into the nitty gritty and the details.
Okay.
Cool. Nice. First question is, where did the name Maddox come from, or is it the name that you already have officially?
So my first beatbox name was Sound Architect.
Hey, that's a good name.
Yeah, but it kind of for me it felt cheesy. Like I picked this name because I was joining a beatbox battle online. It was like in 2010 or something. It wasn't a special thing. It was just an regular online battle. And then the guy was like, "Yo, but you need to have a artist name to register." I was like, "What?" I was thinking about it, and I came up with Sound Architect, and I kept it for like a few weeks, and I was like, "Yo, this is way too complicated. Like, not even me, I can spell it correctly." But then the something funny happened at the battle. Like my style is known to be like really rough. It got a little bit more musical now, but like when I started, it was like more a lot of bass, a lot of power stuff. Like Donald Trump, this song, this this was my own
Right.
style. And one of the judges, I don't remember which guy it was, but one of the judges at the online battle said, "Dude, your beats are fucking mad, man." And I was like, I need to use that
Oh.
in my name.
Uh-huh.
So I came up with the ideas. I want to do something that expresses that I'm a mad beatboxer. So I shortened the word beatbox
Uh-huh.
to ox, and just took the mad and combined them. So it's mad ox.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know someone else had the same idea?
Really?
Yes.
Holy shit! Who?
Well, you
Madox?
shared that. No. You shared that on your story one day. Remember Madox, the burger?
Yeah.
So what happened was, three burger joints in Bangladesh. They were kind of like poking each other, and it's sometimes fun when they do this whole brand fighting thing.
Yeah.
And they start writing in their competitions page, and they go like, "Hey, whatever, this and that." So one of them, there's a place called Mad Chef, and there's another place called Chilox. So I think it was a place called Takeout. So he kind of sorry, not he. They kind of took the Mad from the Mad Chef and Chilox's ox and put them together, Madox. I'm like, okay, you need to be tagged on this.
Oh, what? Yeah.
That's where it came from.
That's funny.
And so if you ever come to Bangladesh, the first thing I'll do is I'll take you to that place. I'll be like, you had this burger, this guy's name's that, so you need to give it free right now, right? Just give it. He's like, what?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Super.
Yeah. I actually the last time I fucked it up, but I in Germany you can put your artist name into your passport if you're
Dude.
you're professional in what you do.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But it's just really complicated. Like I was just like, oh my gosh, don't want to have this process. But right now I'm kind of regretting it because it's so cool to have a fucking artist name on your passport. Yeah, so I definitely gonna do this one day.
Well, yeah, but I used to think that's literally a name because that's on your Facebook as well. I'm like, okay, that's probably his, like a birth name or something.
Yeah, yeah, but that was also the idea. I wanted to, because in the beatbox scene, everyone is calling each other by the artist name, right? And if you have a really weird artist name like Sound Architect, imagine we talking right now to
Right.
each other, and you always call me Sound Architect. It's like, I don't know, something's wrong. So my goal was to have like a name that sounds kind of like a real name, like a and Madox is a regular name actually, like normally you would spell it with double D.
Mad
Um,
Dogs. Okay,
yeah,
but these, right.
yeah, it's like 2D. But
Wow.
I just have one because I feel like looks cooler, simple.
Yeah, I why did I think of something else? So, the thing is, right now, there was just something weird that popped in my mind. It was like, what's in a name? But we kind of do this. All right. So anyone who's been asking me the entire time, is that his real name? You just found out. He told you. That's how it works. That's how it goes. And so this is Rough Techniques. He's saying, hey, Madox. And we have Zetabyte. These are all beatboxers from Bangladesh, by the way. So they're all joining in. So show him some love and make sure you do follow if you haven't already. I don't know why if you haven't already. That's weird. And also do check out the EP that we'll be talking about soon. And of course, a lot more details. So everyone else is popping in. This is available on YouTube and Facebook at the moment, so you can watch the stream properly. So the typical questions once again. One of the most how should I put it? Everyone asks about the origin. Everyone always thinks about where did it all start for the guy, because when you do not know an individual, you kind of wonder what lifestyle the person has, what else do they do, and is beatboxing all he does? He doesn't sleep. It's kind of like a weird, perception. So
I know.
question is, how did it start for you? I know that you were a b-boy. Correct me if I'm wrong. At one point.
Not really a b-boy, but I was dancing, but a hip hop dancer.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So it's not really. It's less acrobatic. It's more focusing. It's kind of like a regular dance, but in a certain style.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to put it because I'm not doing it anymore. I'm probably a bad representation of all the hip hop dancers right now. Anyways,
well, you transitioned to something else. So yeah.
So I was like from the beginning on, I was always like into street arts, if you can say that,
right,
like
graffiti and all of these.
Like stuff kids do nowadays, like especially in bigger cities,
Right.
So when I started playing football, like soccer. Is it soccer or is it football in Bangladesh?
Football here.
Yeah. like the British people hate it when you say soccer, but the American people think it's American football. Anyways, I started with this and I realized that's not my thing, and then I got into basketball, and this was like my first big thing. But then like when I was 14 or 15, I realized I can't really catch up with all the other guys. And my goal was kind of like I want to be professional in something, And when I realized I never gonna be a professional basketball player, I was like, okay, I need to find something. And then I started dancing, and I really enjoyed it. But this also was kind of like, it was pretty hard to get advanced in the area I was practicing it, because there was no real how do I say, like big dancers that I could follow, like
Right.
you could find some stuff online, but I felt like I need to be able to exchange with someone, to learn directly from someone, to go to a school somewhere, and that's funny because the way I put it right now, it totally makes no sense then for me to start beatboxing. But I started beatboxing then. I was watching Pulpo. Everyone knows him. The guy from the French. I think it was kind of like it was a talent show in France. And Pulpo was performing there it was a casting video. And he did like Billie Jean and Snoop Dogg and all those classic beats. And this got me really into beatboxing. Like I knew beatboxing before. Like in 2002, my brother um, was showing me the album of Razel.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was blown away when I heard the album of Razel. But at this time, I thought it's impossible to do. I felt like when I heard Razel the first time in 2002, I was like, you need to be born with the skill. You know what I mean? Like,
The first impression that you got. Yeah.
right? It's like you
Yeah.
can't learn this shit. It's
How is this possible? What's going on?
yeah. I thought like, wow. And it was. I think one reason was because I only heard the audio, because there was no video or I couldn't find a video online back then,
Mhm.
where you could actually see him beatboxing. And secondly, it was produced so well that, like, as a non-beatboxer, you have no idea how to actually, like, what is he doing. So for me, it was like, it's impossible to do. I think it's cool, but I think I'm never gonna learn the skill. And then in 2006, when I saw Pulpo on YouTube, and it wasn't properly it was a casting show, in a studio, but you could get an idea how it would sound like if you would stand in front of him, because it wasn't
Mhm.
like overproduced. And at this point, I was like, yo, I think it would be possible for me to do that. And then I started to research beatboxing, and there was not too much online, but I found like one video where I don't remember his name, unfortunately, but I think it was an Asian guy from the US, and he explained how to how to do My Pony.
Okay. From Genuine.
Yeah, exactly.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was because Timbaland used a lot of beatbox elements in the track. Boom, boom. He did that.
yeah, I know, right? Like he
That's
also used
amazing. Yeah.
like with Nelly Furtado, he used a lot of
Yeah. Yeah.
beatboxing. With Justin Timberlake, he used a lot of beatboxing.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so this was the first tutorial I found online, and I was watching this tutorial like 1,000 times. I was like, I need to learn this skill right now. And then this guy also had a tutorial on Snoop Dogg, on Drop It Like It's
Dude.
Hot. And I kind of felt like I'm not really good in. I wasn't good at the Genuine My Pony song, but Snoop Dogg one I learned pretty fast, like in 1 or 2 weeks. And then I was so proud to be able to do this beat, that I was like in school, like showing my friends this beat, and like everyone who heard it was like, "Yo, how you do this?" Like
Oh,
this, the melody,
is it
the
the one
melody,
with the Pharrell Williams, right?
like the.
Yeah.
And I was the coolest guy in school, like
Yeah.
no one ever heard this before, and there was no beatboxing online, like a few videos, and like everyone thought like, yo, that's so cool, it's
Oh,
so,
dope.
yeah, and it's also
Madox.
it's so magic because I do a continuous melody and then a beat on top. No one was like, no one could understand how this works.
Hmm.
And like this was the first time when I was like, yo, I have a skill that that makes people freak out. Like that
Right.
that makes people go crazy. And I like in school um I wasn't a really confident guy. So for me, this was a really big thing, like, wow, people admire me right now for something that I can do. So and this actually gave me so much motivation that I just kept doing it. Yeah.
Wow. I remember the thing you were like. I can't do the. Ping. I can't really do it at the same time, sadly. Uh, but I think was it Darnie who got on stage at ABC, and then he starts
Yeah,
doing it.
when I did the long time challenge.
Yeah, and Gene's like, I'm doing it, but then he gets on stage, he's like, crap. Everyone was trying to do it around. That was really dope.
Yeah, man, that's funny, man. I fucking love Darnie for these crazy ideas. Like sometimes it feels like really dumb what he's doing, but sometimes it's so genius. But it's just because like Darnie is a person, when he has an idea, he doesn't take time to process it. He just puts it out.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing, because sometimes you have an idea and you think about it and then you be like, oh, that's a shitty idea, but maybe it's not. So you should try it. And Darnie is really good in it. It's just like
He just
throwing out
pops in. Yeah.
throwing out ideas, and sometimes it works, sometimes it's not working. But like if it's even just 10% of your ideas that are super nice and dope, then it's worth it. So shout out to Darnie.
Yeah, definitely. And it's great to be curious, because I remember we were coming back from the gig. Atoman, me, Darnie, Eto woman as in Misato, everyone, we were coming back, and he kept on asking questions about language. And then he was telling how he's a mix of Chinese and everything. I'm like, wow, okay. Then he started talking about Bangla, Hindi, and everything, which is great. Anyways, back to this. We have a lot of questions coming for you and a lot of love. Drewbox wants to know. He said how first, but he meant who is your favorite beatboxer? That's a very common question. So let me rephrase it. Which were the beatboxing idols that you started with? And if you could probably name a couple of beatboxers from now, or say the middle school or old school, whatever time. So who would they be?
So at the beginning it was Pulpo.
Yeah, you already mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the guy who made me start beatboxing. Then I got into Roselle afterwards. Like when I found some sources how to actually do his stuff, and then I was really into his stuff. And then like I actually came into the beatbox scene pretty late, like in 2011. So I was beatboxing for 5 years already, and just at that point I was like, yo, what, there's a beatbox scene? And then
Wow, man.
Yeah, it was like, yo, I'm doing this for myself for 5 years now, and I didn't know there's so many people doing this too.
Man, I can just imagine you were doing the Snoop Dogg thing all the way, and suddenly, wait, what the hell is this?
Yeah,
what? There's a scene,
bro. I thought like with beats like this, I'm like top notch. I'm like, what, man, this is advanced shit. And then you see like people like Skiller, Kim, Ballsy at GBB, and you're like, yo, I need to learn so much, man.
Wow, and you were like,
yeah. So like when I came into the beatbox scene, I never like okay, maybe like in the past 2 or 3 years I got a little bit into technical stuff, but at the beginning I never was really into technical stuff. Like I had a huge respect for Alam and Skiller, but it was just not my thing, because I came from this hip hop era, like with melodies in your beats, and flow and stuff like this. And yeah, so when I came into the beatbox scene, I was a huge fan of Kim and Ballsy, because they also had the combination of the hip hop flavor, but then also at the same time it sounded new school to me.
right?
It wasn't like Roselle or something. They had their own flavor.
New. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Like Kim, I know Kim. He did a lot of stuff with lip rolls and these things. And Ballsy had like a lot of wobbles in his beats, and like a lot of melodies. And he also used like the lip oscillation, like the beats with this, and so like I really loved their styles. So at the beginning I was trying to copy them, but then like I kind of failed. But at the same time, the crazy thing is, like I think it was in 2013 or something. Like this was still a phase where I was like trying heavily to sound like certain beatboxers, but
Right.
I couldn't do it. But then like I think it was Slither at in 2012 or 13, and he came up to me and he said like, "Yo, bro, this beat you just did, that was super cool, you know." And this was like the first time I'm like, "Yo, really?" Like a big guy telling me I do sick stuff, and then I like it inspired me so much, and it was actually something that no one was doing before, but I felt it's not good enough, but then after Slither told it to me, I was like, wait, I don't need to try to sound like Ballsy, because I was by trying to sound like Ballsy, I started to sound like Maddox, like I sound today.
But it
Um,
processed and came into what you sound like.
exactly. Like I was really inspired by like all these wobbles he was doing, and then like in this time I came up with like like all these
Right.
wobbly stuff that I was doing back then. I still do them, and this is like the kind of technicality I do. Yeah, but this was like the time where I felt like, yo, I start finding my own style. Yeah, but it
Right.
was it was like heavily inspired by Ballsy and Kim back then. And then
Yeah.
after, I don't know, like it's hard to say. Like afterwards, I got a lot of inspiration here and there, but I didn't have like the favorite beatboxer.
Mm-hmm.
I think right now, after maybe a few people saw the podcast with Scott Jackson and Reeves one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I always used to be like a fan of Reeves one, of course, like everyone is. But
He's
and
an alien. He doesn't exist, so that's a
yeah,
different example.
exactly. But it was always like an up and down, like sometimes I was, yeah, he's genius, and then like, I don't know, he's not doing anything anymore, and then, oh fuck, he's coming back, he's a genius. And then like
Oh man, that is
yeah,
something.
so like on his podcast, he said something that really inspired me. So I was like, yo, I'm a huge fan again.
Just went up like that. Oh, dude! Wow.
Yeah.
One thing I really liked you mention, just to the answer that you gave, is you're admitting to the fact, and it's good to be humble about it. That you used to like these certain beatboxers, say Ballsy especially, Kim and everyone, and it's not like you mentioned. It's not something we're born with. You're like it doesn't start like that. You just don't
Yeah.
wake up in a moment like, wait, my son's not talking. What's that thing he's making with his mouth? That's not how it works. But then you do emulate what another beatboxer does. But if you don't do the kick, snare, or whatever, or the wobbles and everything, you don't understand what you're good with, and you don't know if you can make your own sound. So there's no shame in actually trying to do this. The problem a lot of local beatboxers face is, yeah, you just copied the guy. No, I'm just trying to. You copied the guy. I'm learning. You copied the guy. That's kind of the debate that happens.
Yeah.
So whoever's watching, you can understand. You're listening to Madox. You're not listening to Ballsy. You're not listening to Kim. This is Madox. So Madox is Madox, and that's because he kind of started creating his own stuff. And yes, it comes from a particular position. You don't start something if it doesn't exist. It's weird. Anyways, we have a lot of good questions. But before I mention the questions, sorry, I read out the questions, I do want to tell this to everyone. At the end of the podcast or somewhere in between, you will be allowed to be here, talk to Maddox, and you get to ask a question.
Oh,
And oh yeah, and or if you can do a sound that Madox does and kind of add your bit to it, just like he did when he said he has learned from some of the best beatboxers, but then he has his own sound. So come up with your best Madox sound, but give your twist, and he will listen to it right here. Yes. So A, ask him a question, or B, drop a beat that Maddox will listen, and it could be something that he has done before. You have that
Yeah.
chance, and we will choose that. If you want to do that, do mention that you want to be here in the comment section. So one thing, yeah, Maddox,
I
please.
I I have a story about. Can I take like 3 or 4 minutes for this one?
Dude,
Like
there's no time limit. There's no time limit. Just
yeah,
go ahead,
no,
please.
I just like, as you're talking about like sound inspiration, right? That's
Right.
what we're talking about right
Yeah.
now. Like first of all, I want to say it's totally fine to copy beatboxers, others, and even if you sound the same, doesn't matter, you know. Just keep doing it, and at some point you will sound different because we are all different, you know. We have different mouth shapes, and we have different experiences in our lives, we have
Right.
different taste, so at one point it will sound different.
Mhm.
And the beauty of it is that suddenly if you into a style, but then add your own ideas to it, you can create your own style. So like um I think it was like 4 years ago, roundabout, I was in New York, and I was hanging out with Gene a lot, and he has the snare, like the everyone knows,
Yeah.
like this cuff
Yeah.
snare, vocalized cuff snare. And I was like, "Yo, I need to learn this snare. It sounds so beautiful, you know." And I was, and actually Pepuni was teaching me then. Pepuni
Dude.
was, Pepuni was able to do it, and I remember the scene exactly. Like we were standing, we were queuing in a coffee shop together, me and Pepuni, and the queue was fucking long, so we had a long time, and he was teaching me while we were in the coffee shop, and it was embarrassing because it sounded horrible, you know, like how it
As if
starts.
you were coughing back then, just straight out forward.
Exactly, but like people around us, and but I was like, I was so much into it to learn it. I was like, I don't give a shit. I want to learn it right now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I was practicing it, and at one point, I was kind of like, wait, but this sound is like, I felt for me always there was something missing to the sound, like when I was doing it. So I yeah, and then there was this point where I started to produce with B art, and we had in our minds to make like a trap song, and at this time I was really into Jack U. Maybe you know Skrillex,
Yeah, yeah.
Skrillex
Yes.
and Diplo. They
Mhm.
teamed up together, and they had one song, and in this one song, there was a certain snare, like the like a cowbell snare,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Yo, I want to do the snare in a track," but I couldn't pull it off at all. And then I just recorded like and tried to modulate the snare in my computer, so it kind of sounds like the snare of Skrillex.
Mhm.
And then as I was modulating it, um, I came to this point where it sounded really close to the snare of Skrillex and Diplo. But then I was like, wait, I think I can do it with my mouth, you know? And then like from the sound I was modulating in my computer, I started to practice it, and then I was like, okay, it's actually when I add my voice to a hollow club, then it's so
Dude.
this was like when I came up with this snare, and then I recorded it again, and I was like, yo, BR, fuck, I found a solution. We don't need to use an electronic snare, we can just use a real beatbox snare.
Right.
And then when I had this one, I was like, whoa, what if I take this snare and combine it with the one that I learned from Gene, or in this case from Pepuni? So it was like this one. And
Oh,
then
you kind of molded all of them together in a
yeah,
straight. Dude,
exactly.
right.
And you know, and the crazy thing about this one sound is, I mean, it's just one sound, but it has so many stories. You know, like it's like inspiration by Skrillex and Diplo. It's inspiration by Gene, and then I kind of like I took the idea of Skrillex and Diplo and added the idea of Gene to it, and then it was a new sound. You know,
Dude.
so like, and that's what I why I say, guys, don't hesitate to copy, because as soon as you hit the level where you are on eye level with the beatboxer that you copy, then you start improving maybe even the sound, you know, or you change it up, and then it's a new style, you know. And then and the great thing was like I released a song. I don't remember the name of it.
Dude.
Uh,
Seriously, was it
Stay. It's called
stay?
Stay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think this was the first time I really used the snare, and everyone was like, "Yo, this is sick snare," and a lot of people told me like, "Yo, this is not a real snare. You probably did it with your computer," and this was even like this was a compliment for me. I was like, "Yeah, I sound electronic," you know. But anyways, I think a few weeks later, I met Gene, and he was like, "Bro, I saw your video. It's so sick. And how are you doing the snare, you know?" And I was like, "Bro, it's I actually learned it from you." You know,
And he's
like,
like, what?
yeah, he was like, "No, I can't do it." I was like, "Yeah, but it's your snare." And
Right.
then I just add the, and he was like, "What?" You know, and this, and then he learned it from me. So this whole thing went full circle, you know? Like, he
Wow.
inspired me to do it, then I added something, and then I inspired him to add it too, you know? And now Spider Horse is using the sound too, you know, and it's like, fuck, it's
This is
amazing.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an amazing insight, Maddox, because if you say what you took from Gene and you added your bit to it, and now Gene already knows the one type, then he added the one that you know, and he does a different, level of sound right now, which you said Spider Horse does.
Yeah.
This is absolutely amazing. So all the keyboard warriors out there who are always ready watching video, and you're like, oh yeah, I just found him copying someone. Bro, check this out. I just wrote he copied, and that's where it ends. You just heard it from Madox. That's how it goes. And it's like a Lego set. You buy the Lego set. 15 people make 15 different things out of it, but it's the same piece. It's the same damn piece. So that's how it works, man.
Yeah.
And if you don't do something now, by the fourth or the fifth edition, it doesn't grow and doesn't get bigger. A car in 1920s isn't the same car right now. But if they didn't do that then, it wouldn't have been a supercar right now.
Exactly. And when you're building cars, you don't start from scratch. You take
Yeah,
you take common knowledge, and
exactly.
then you build from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if anyone has any argument after this, you know what to do. Watch this, and there's no questions.
Yeah.
Anyways, there are questions, by the way, which I'm going to
And
answer.
to finish
Yeah.
the last question, my actual favorite beatbox is Vocoder.
Article. Vocoder. You can't say article right now.
Vocoder. I didn't. What did I say? No, I just,
No, you didn't say that. Man, I had the podcast with him and Decoy. I kept on going like Vocoder. He's like, yeah, I know. No one's used to it. No one's used to it. It's just the
No.
article. It's all good.
It takes a few years.
Yeah, but it's amazing. See, that's the thing. Everyone makes their own sound. It's just absolutely brilliant. All right. So once again, let me announce, if any of you can create one of the sounds that Madox can, just for example, he just taught you how to do the stuff that Gene does, then he made his version. Now Gene and Spiderhorse does it. And it's amazing how he learned it. These are attributes that come, and then you just follow it up and make it better. So we will bring you here so you can beatbox to him and see that how this exchange works. Let's learn, let's grow, let's share knowledge. We have a lot of questions regarding your signature sound, the Madox snare. So Depop Beat wants to hear that.
Which one is the Madox?
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
trying.
have a
I'm
few
trying to wonder
snares.
on the.
Yeah. So okay, last story, and then I teach the snare
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I
Please,
was
please.
just
The
like,
floor is yours,
uh,
Madox.
yeah. Like just recently, I released a song with Beard. Fuck, I'm so bad even with my own names. Insane, insane.
It
A
was a while
song.
back.
It's a
Insane,
year
right?
ago. It's a
Yeah.
year ago.
Oh,
It's pretty much a year ago. And I was
2 years.
doing Insane is last year, bro.
No, it says. Oh, you came back after 2 years. Sorry, the Vonox thing later on. Yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
looking
so
at it right now. I'm looking at it right now. You're like, ooh.
I'm pretty sure. Okay, that would be strange if I don't even know when I release my
No, it
shit.
is. It is. It's, my bad. My bad. It is that one. I think it
Yeah,
was the one in
the
the
description
parking
says
lot.
after 2 years break. Or you just thought 2 years.
Yeah, my
Anyways,
bad.
I was doing the this
Yes,
snare,
dude.
but I didn't had a name for it. And then one guy in the comment section, and again I don't know who it was. It was just a super nice, cool follower of Sus Beatbox, whoever it was. But he said, "Yo, the blade snare of Madox is so sick," and I was like, "Wait, did he just made up this name?" Like,
Nice.
I never heard this name before, but it was like, yo, it makes so much sense because it kind of sounds like a blade, you know, when
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I
It's
was
like a beatboxing samurai going like. Imagine you doing that.
yeah. And I was like, yo, fuck, he just like I was searching for a name for it, and he just gave it to me in the comment section, you know, just a fan. And I
Wow.
was like, yo, fuck, that's so sick, man. So and since then I call it blade snare, you know. Like,
That's dope.
so
That's dope.
even like fans can inspire artists, you know, sometimes with something they say.
Yeah.
So even there, don't be afraid to talk to them and share your feelings, even if you think you're not on the same level like your idols. You know, you still can have crazy ideas, you know, that can and the artist can benefit from it, and then you start
Exactly.
sharing, you know, because I
Exactly.
mean that's how it is. Like an artist is sharing his music with his fans, and then his fans give him back motivation or even inspiration.
It's a ripple effect. It comes and it goes both ways, to be honest. It goes both ways. So those who are watching, you have this opportunity to do what he just said right now. So I will, or Madox or whoever, we will actually just point at one of you guys. You have to say, I have a sound for Madox, or I want to do a Madox sound, and we'll bring you here. But
Yeah,
we can
and
only allow one or two.
and
Yeah,
if you
Madox?
if you have a nice idea for my like I have a few snares and they all don't have a name except the blade snare.
So bring in some names. Name some
Yeah,
of
bring in some
Madox.
names. Like I have the which is like without breath, and then I have the that is like a cuff snare and a hollow club. But I don't I call it hollow club snare and vocalized hollow club snare, but that's not a cool name, so I still search.
That's a long, yeah. But you
Yeah,
can't do this right now. You can't do this right now in the middle of the street. They'd be like, you can't start.
yeah. So if you have sick names, guys, give me
Yeah,
give me
drop it.
names. So
Drop it.
yeah, to come back to the question, how do I do the snare?
Yeah.
So step one for the vocalized hollow club cuff snare.
Vocalize. That's WHC.
Yeah, WHC. Step one is you need to learn the hollow club. And it's just a club snare, like, and maybe Baksho,
There's the name.
the Mad Club. Oh shit, that's a cool name. The Mad Club. Yeah,
I can't do that.
yeah. Do this one.
Yeah.
And can you do it hollow?
I'm
No,
very.
so don't. Hollow doesn't mean you use your voice. Hollow means that you open your throat.
Yeah, I'm really bad with that.
So you
Oh,
should
you're
be.
kind of using this part.
So look, when you do the normal one, your throat is blocked, so you could be so the airflow is going through your nose. So you could, if you do, you should be able to breathe out of your nose, or hum through your nose.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. But if you do it hollow, that means the air is coming out of your mouth.
Right.
Yeah. Try to do so cover your
Yeah.
nose
Okay.
and then try to hum through your mouth. So yeah.
I get that.
Okay. Yeah. So for everyone else who's trying to do it,
They're actually writing all the names right now. Yeah, go on.
yeah, man. I'm still into Mad Club. That's
Mad Club, Vocop snare.
Vocops. It's like a reference to Vonox. Okay.
And Shklop snare. That's a sound.
That's like a riser, and then the snare.
Okay, I come very bad with separating and bringing that back again. If you guys are good at it, just beatbox here. Yes, Madox, go on.
So
the sound.
so if you have the then you can, from this point on, you can do several sounds. So either you say you just do the normal vocalized hollow club snare, and that's just me making using my voice, like so it's for me it's a pretty low head voice,
Right.
and why I use this particular pitch is that I when I was doing it on the mic and I did the I found out that this sound is close, like the frequency is pretty close to the hollow club. So when I do the and I cover the microphone and I go close to a monitor, then it's there would be a feedback sound.
A feedback, yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to imitate the feedback sound. So
that makes sense.
so I have this feedback sound even without feedback. Yeah, exactly.
It's like a seal stuck in your throat.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And
Someone
then,
named it the raindrop snare.
the raindrops. Oh, that sounds like a Backstreet Boys sound. The raindrop snare.
You have to do that. And you have to beatbox. Yes. Oh man. Wow.
Backstreet's back.
Imagine if AJ suddenly goes like, "Oh my God, we're again," something like that. Wow,
Oh
man.
shit, man!
That'd
And
be so-
I admire this. I don't know what's the language, but I admire this African language where they use the hollow club as a.
Oh, yeah, that was part of a joke. But yeah, wait, I think it's not Swahili, but it's somewhere in the Central African zone. They do a lot of clicks, and
Exactly.
they do that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's actually a really advanced way to talk, because this is a complicated, like it's more complicated than to use our sounds that we
The
use to
sounds.
talk.
Yeah.
Like K, B, M, they're like really soft, but then like it's like a really complicated sound to do, and they use it in their language, so I think they're like really advanced.
Oh,
imagine
this is the language, Xhosa,
Xhosa.
the Xhosa language, I believe.
Xhosa language.
Yeah, the XH. I think so, because
Maybe-
there's a
maybe it's
beatboxer
even
from
like-
South Africa. Sorry.
Maybe it's even like Ngosan.
Yeah,
Ngosan.
we don't want to make a joke out of that though.
Yeah.
Oh, it's called Tosha language, also known Tocha. I don't know how to pronounce that, but
Yeah.
in normal English, it's Tosca, Tosha.
Tosha.
Anyways,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
there
Yeah,
you
but
go.
I think that's really cool, you know?
It is. There are no actual words, no syllables, but you're going. That's and you're actually communicating. He's like, oh, I get what you're saying. You're talking about coming to my house and having dinner, right? Yeah, that's good. like, it's
Yeah.
amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, Madox is right, though. It has the click by the X. Oh, it does.
Yes. Yeah.
Mosa.
Nossa.
Mosa.
Nossa. Yeah.
All right,
Imagine
guys, you can definitely drop a beat here, by the way. Come and drop a beat in front of Madox.
Imagine your name includes the sound, you know. So yo, what's up? I'm Madox. And everyone is like, you what? Yo, I'm Madox. And you're like, you what? And like, you know, and like I'm not really good in like, you know, like if it's in your language, then you can just drop it like any syllable, you know. But then if you're not so like, yo, what's up? This is Madox from Germany, and everyone is like, yo, did you hear this click sound? That's like in between something. Yeah, that would be funny.
Man. But first letter is pronounced as an outward K. Hello, Mr. Gogol. Mr. Gogol. Okay.
First letter is outward K.
Is pronounced as outward K snare for click. Yeah, we're talking about a language right now.
Yeah.
Nah, but all respects. I don't want to mean any disrespect to any of the languages, and it's amazing and it's fascinating how languages can actually make way towards the movement of your mouth and the sound that comes from your body. But imagine you going to a different country and mentioning a word or a sound that means 10 different things in a completely different location. Like you said, Madox and Madox, imagine. And you actually go there in Africa in that place and their language actually has that as a completely different meaning. Like, he just said he wants to kill you. Something like that. Like, no, that's my name. Where are you taking me?
Oh,
but
shit.
no, it's amazing. It's absolutely brilliant because the African continent actually gave birth to a lot of vocal, percussive sounds, and it's in the tribes as well. And most of their languages are spoken so beautifully. It's absolutely brilliant. Wow. Madox, I came across two. I think I had this conversation with you. We had Soul Rock in Bangladesh around 6 years ago. Absolutely amazing guy. And with him, there was a guy called Akim Walter. And he's apparently one of the OGs when it comes to graffiti art. And he left me a complete German book on graffiti artists. I have it somewhere. Sadly, I can't read the German. But it has everything that's related to graffiti and the old school hip hop of the German music scene. So I was like, wow, man, there's so much that's happening. It's absolutely brilliant stuff. So it's great. So how would you say the scene, like, because, you know, there's this debate about beatboxing being a completely isolated form of stuff. It is different. But then again, there's also this discussion that we had with Dougie Fresh and everyone just a couple of days ago. And they were saying, you can't really say, and Firebras was saying it. Why would you say beatboxing is separate from hip hop? The origin is hip hop. No matter what you do, you always have to come back to the root. So how is the scene right now where you are in Germany? Is beatbox considered to be a completely different sector, or it's still always coming back, paying respect to the roots?
I feel right now it's getting closer again to hip hop because a lot of beatboxers are doing trap beats, and trap is now part of hip hop, right? Like a lot of rappers using trap beats. So it used to be kind of more apart because in 2012 roundabout a lot of beatboxers did like house beats and dubstep beats, so it was kind of disconnected from hip hop. But now like, and only talking about the style of music, now it's kind of closer to hip hop again. And I also know there's two beatboxers in Germany actually who are also really advanced rappers. like not famous, but both are like skillful rappers, like and they dropping songs right now and stuff. Um, but like in general, I mean, let's combine it with rap because it kind of has the same roots. So if you look at rap music, it's the origin, the roots of rap music is hip hop, and now it's kind of in every genre just because it's so popular, right. You have rappers collaborating in pop music. You have rappers in drum and bass, in dubstep, in house. Everywhere you see rappers, because it's just such a common style, and it also fits to different tempos and different styles. But if you talk about rap music, everyone still considers it's from out of hip hop, right? Because of the roots of it, and because majority of our rappers still rap on like either trap or boom bap beats. But it doesn't mean that you can't use it for different genres. So I think so. Yeah, to close this topic, it's kind of like hip hop. For me, hip hop is not particularly like a certain BPM or a certain style of music. It's more about the feeling of it's kind of like the roots are like the roots of it is kind of like it was music that got created on the street. It's not
Right.
like it wasn't done by kings and queens. Like it wasn't developed in a musical school.
Mhm.
It was created in like by black artists, and it kind of was growing also there, and then it found its way into the mainstream. But because it was created there, it has this rough style, like hip hop is using a lot of elements that were like kind of forbidden at the beginning. But because of this, also I feel like you can be more creative with it, because you have less rules in hip hop than for example in jazz or in classical music. No, not even that's stupid. No, jazz, in jazz you also don't have rules, but jazz also is black music. So yeah, let's say classical music. Like when you learn classical music in school, it kind of feels like it's all about the rules. But hip
Yeah.
hop is like a lot of freedom. There's so much freedom, and you can do stuff, and it's coming from the streets, and was super dirty. People at the beginning didn't care about timing, didn't care about pitch. They just expressed themselves. um and so I think hip hop is all about your expression, and we still have this in beatboxing. you know People use it to express themselves, and they just do what they feel like. And afterwards, after they learn the skill, then they apply the rules. Then they learn about timing, about pitch, about performance, about how to sing, all these things. But it always starts with, I want to express myself.
Yeah, totally.
And
And of
that's
course, it's what I believe is something, obviously an issue that started recently, and how everyone talks about it but never acknowledges the fact that obviously you have to respect where it came from. And Germany obviously isn't really the root. Neither is Bangladesh. Neither are the countries around. When it goes all the way, and it goes way centuries, to be honest. I'm not saying hip hop is that old, but it comes from a lot of things. Then the birth of of hip hop itself came in the 70s, and then elements started popping in from different types of people, different backgrounds, and so much more. But obviously black culture promoted it, where we kind of took it and then made it our own in other ways. But I believe there's always a way to give back. um so all right, so we have Etoman. He's actually saying, yo,
Oh
it's
damn,
the
bro.
G.
What's up, man?
I would like to bring him, but he's kind of not around at the moment. But well, he's watching. Once again, everyone who's here, drop a word, drop a line, and of course, you. We can bring you on screen to drop a beat to Madox. Meanwhile, let me ask you a couple of questions that's coming all the way from Philippines. By the way, we have Vincent, who was the first Philippine champ. He wrote a while back. He was the one telling about the wood snare sound, I believe. And yeah, I keep messing up your name, bro. Okay, with the growth of the community doing global, do you think the beatbox music will be more mainstream and be heard on the radio or remain niche? What's your perspective about it? Opinion about it, actually.
It is already in the mainstream. We just didn't realize it. Like
It,
we were
but
talking about, Timberland was using it. I think
right,
I think the biggest problem why beatboxing is not that present is because beatboxing is not a language that you can understand. You know what I mean? As a normal person, like
yeah,
rap music, that's words. Pop music, you're singing words. Um, Whatever electronic music, you can add words to it. So people understand and they can connect right away with it. Even if it's not their kind of music, but maybe they like the lyrics, so they get into it. But beatboxing is more about like the instrumental part of it, right? But
hmm,
then but then now beatboxers start to implement singing and rapping into it. And with this, they have it way easier to connect with a bigger audience. Like people like Hotfish, he's using a lot of singing.
yeah,
Dilo is using a lot of singing. um Thomas Sacre, his most famous routine, like the Skrillex cover, has
dude, the lows. My God, what the hell was that? The lows, like absolute, and he hit the notes so right.
yeah,
I'm like, what the hell was that?
yeah, that was
Shit.
crazy. But that's the thing. But like you first need to, like, with a mainstream audience, the best way to connect with a mainstream audience is with lyrics that they can understand.
Right.
And that's what you mainly hear in the radio. It's mostly singers and rappers, because people just enjoy lyrics. So beatboxing, I think it will be used in mainstream music, and it's already been used in mainstream music by Timbaland, for example. And I mean, come on, Justin Timberlake, like "Sexy Back," that was on place one Billboard charts for weeks, and there's beatboxing inside, so you can't deny it. Or Snoop Dogg, "Drop It Like It's Hot." It's actually beatboxing.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
this is beatboxing, and they used it but it's not the beatboxing part is not in the spotlight, but the lyrical part. That's why
Yeah.
we think beatboxing isn't in the mainstream yet. But that's the same like saying, "Yo, do you think guitars ever will be in the mainstream?"
That's a
Yes, you see it
weird
on
question.
stage, but people people focus more on the singer when you hear a rock band, right?
Now, how
You have
often do you sit down and listen to the nitty gritties in the back? And you would, I
Yeah,
would,
exactly.
we
As a
would be like,
musician, you do, but
yeah,
as a mainstream audience, you mostly connect with the lyrics, with the
yeah,
lyrical part. Like the guitars, the chords, they're supporting the feeling, that the singer wants to deliver, but
mm,
the singer is in the front. The lead singer, that's why he's the leader. Yeah, and when you get a little bit more into rock music, then you start enjoy like guitar solos and stuff, but that's not something you would listen to or enjoy so much if you're not into rock music. Like the super mainstream people, I don't know if they exist, but like people who like don't really care about music for them is just a background noise, that they like to listen to when they at home cooking something. They turn on the radio and there's Lady Gaga playing, and they're like, "Oh, I know this
yeah,
song." you know that's the mainstream. And so yeah, beatboxing is closer to instruments than to vocals, but you can combine it as a beatboxer because we use the same organ as singers. So yeah, I don't know
No, but that
how to end uh, this task, but like I think beatboxing will be used more, kind of like Timbaland was using it, but more advanced sounds. Um, but I think it never will be on eye level with singing and rapping because it's not lyrical.
but no, if I go to what you're saying, uh, there doesn't need to be a lot of beatboxing needing to come on the mainstream. It's there, as you said. Why are we following groups like Pentatonics and Voca People and so many others out there? And there's so much happening. For example, when you said Justin Timberlake, Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
I'm guessing most don't understand the fact that he does a lot of he doesn't mean that that's the only thing he does. He did a lot of stuff. But when you go to Justin Timberlake, I had a tough time telling my friends that a section of pop from NSYNC had Justin beatboxing, and he does pop. That's actually cut, but it's something that you can do with the mouth. And then he had a whole entire band had a dance sequence, and it's all beatboxing. The
yeah,
song pop, and the entire thing is Justin. I'm like, wait, that's how it came. But you go way back, and Stetsasonic from the hip hop scene in the late '80s, they had beatboxing, but that's rap, and so much so more. Um, so it's amazing, to be honest, and we need to acknowledge that it's right there. I want to switch all the way, and even though I before switch, I bet everyone wants to know right now what is Future Voice, because they keep seeing it on the screen. So drop information about it before we go into the next set of questions. So
yeah.
the new EP. Let's talk about the new EP.
Okay. So it started with 3 years ago. Yeah, I think it was 3 years ago. His was competing at GBB the second time, and I knew him already from the first time, and I really loved his style, like from the first year on, because it was like so musical, and like kind of pop-ish, but still the beatbox flavor in it. It was so, for me, it was really refreshing. And I was like, yo, I really want to record a video, like a shout out or something with him. So
Right.
at second year of GBB, I was talking to him, yo, bro, when you have some time, let's do something. And then actually, his friend Bara Kim, who's leading Korea Beatbox, the YouTube channel, he was like, yo, let's make a video for Korea Beatbox. And then me and his were sitting together for like 10 minutes and figuring out, yo, what should we do together? And like in between 10 minutes, we came up with a whole idea for a song. And I was like, yo, that was so quick. Normally it takes me weeks, like when I
Right.
think about like how it was with B art, or when I do a solo song, it takes so much time, but with him it was so quick. And I was super impressed. And a year afterwards, I got invited to Beatbox to World, the
Right.
international battle in South Korea. And I was like, I want to go to and I didn't even care too much about the battle. Don't get me wrong, it was important for me, but
Your focus was on the
more
work on
important for
the
me was like, I want to meet his and do something with him again.
right.
Because
Right.
the feeling of the last time was so nice. Like, yo, it was so quick, and we were connecting so fast, even though his English is nearly not existent. Like
Yeah, that's what I want to get at.
his
You're
English
lost
is
in
a mess.
translation.
His English is a mess, but we still
Yeah.
understand each other so well on a musical level. So like I was texting him before I went to Beatbox to World, hoping that he will find some time. And I was like, I don't know if he will find, because he's also part of the organization. Anyways, he
Right.
didn't answer me. He just said, I need to talk to my manager.
Oh,
And I was like, oh shit, he's on this level now. Like he can't even make dates for himself. Yeah, so I went to Beatbox the World. I did my elimination. I sucked in my elimination. I didn't even enter the battles, but it was a great event. So I was like, yeah, whatever. But I still didn't have any information. I was like, okay, so I'm here for doing something with his actually. And then the day after the battle, his manager, who's called Sinjo. So
Sinjo,
don't
right?
yeah, his name is also Sinjo, but with a Z.
I,
It's not.
I met him. I met him at Papa Well before I took his for the shout out. He was
Yeah.
sitting right there. I believe he was sitting right there. Yeah, because he had
Okay.
to ask him, "Can I go?" I'm like, "Who are you asking? Can you go?" It was the same thing.
Yeah. So he and his were like came up to me after the day after the battle, and they were like, "Okay, bro." So and like in their really poor English, but like really excited, both of them. Like, yo, bro. So you ask us if you can collaborate with his. Let's make Artist Week. And I was like, what kind of Artist Week? Yeah, like 7 videos, you and his together.
Wow,
And I was like,
dude!
what? Dude,
You
I
went for
was
a collab
scared.
and boom!
I was like, yo, I just want to have one song, and you gave me a whole thing. I was like, yo, holy! I was,
Oh man,
bro, I was crying because I was so happy. I was like, yo, this is so sick. And then Sinjo was even like, yo, and we got a studio, and you can have it for a whole week. And I was like, no way. That was like way more than I ever could have imagined before I traveled to South Korea. My plan was like somewhere in between, when we have time, maybe we go to my hotel room, and I have a microphone with me, and I record bits and pieces of his, and then try to make a song out of it. And it ended up being, we had a whole week in a studio. you know and
yeah.
we're like every day, like I think 14 hours straight, just
Wow.
recording music. And bro, it was crazy. And like the problem also was like, I remember, I was like, fuck, but I need to leave Korea on Wednesday, and it was already Monday. But we for to accomplish this, we needed to have like even way more time. So I was calling Pepuni, because he was booking my flights, and I was like, bro, I need to stay longer in South Korea. Can we do something about it? I pay by myself, please, bro. We need a solution. I need to stay longer. And he managed
Yeah.
to find a flight that was not too expensive. It was way longer. Like the actual flight was
The
like a direct.
layover.
Yeah, like the actual flight was like 12 hours, which is already long. But then he found like a cheap solution, but it was like 20 hours, like
Shit.
over Russia, and then stay there for a few hours, and then to Germany. But I was like, I don't care. I just want to stay longer. So I took this one, and then we were like, okay, we want to record songs, but we also to present it to the beatbox community, and because beatbox is normally more into watching videos instead of just listening to audio.
Right.
They want to watch a video. So we were like, yo, we need to record the songs and produce videos. So we're like, damn, how should we do that? And then we just like, and I remember like on Monday, there was something going on with all the artists from Beatbox to World, so we didn't even have time on this day to do something. But then in the evening, we went to I'm so bad with names.
You went to a place. You went to somewhere.
Yeah, we went to a place in the evening, and we're both tired, and then we're like, okay, tomorrow we're gonna start recording. And then his was already like, okay, bro, I have an idea. I have an idea for a trance song and for a dubstep song, and I also have an idea for like for like a pop-ish thing. And then he was kind of like showing me like song examples he would find on YouTube, and I was like, yeah, I want to do like a chord like this, and then you do this, you know, and then we combine it like that. And I was like, holy fuck, when did you came up with all the ideas? It was like, yeah, when we drive here with the taxi, in the taxi, I was looking it up, and it was like, what?
Dude.
No, like, he was
Boom.
processing the stuff so quick, and I was like, yo, that's amazing. And like in between 30 minutes, we were like, we had sketches for each song already, for 5 songs. No, wait, how
Wow.
much? Yeah, 5 songs. And then we're like, great, let's grab some food, and that's all for today. And then the next 3 to 4 days, we were just sitting in the studio, recording beats, recording lyrics, writing lyrics. We recorded Rampage, we recorded Fly Away, we recorded We Alive, and what was I don't
You
remember
actually you
all the
have a lot actually, because on the Dunal Entertainment YouTube channel, Fly Away video has been uploaded 2 months ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
another story. So
Yeah.
let me talk about this story afterwards. But anyway,
Right.
so like in this week we managed to make Flyaways, Summer Night, We Alive, and Rampage. And
Rampage. The video that came out last year.
yeah, exactly. And the
Yeah.
original idea of Rampage was that it's also going to be on the EP. But because it's actually inspired by
The movie?
no, not the movie, but there's a song. It's also called Rampage, by um, maybe
Should I
someone in the
search?
comment, someone in the
Comment
who's searching.
section.
Rampage by Gravedigger.
Oh, Grave DGR.
Grave
Digger.
DGR, exactly.
Grave Digger.
Yeah, like the drop. The drop is inspired, and obviously the name. And then
You didn't you shoot this in Taiwan? I think you shot a video in Taiwan, in the alley or something.
yeah, but not this one. This one was shot in South Korea.
Okay.
Rampage. So the problem with Rampage then was it was too close to this song, but we already finished recording it, and it was impossible to do anything about it. And then Sinjo actually reached out to Gravedigger and asked him if we can make it a cover version to make an official release. But then he was like, "Yeah, but I want to have $10,000 for it, and I also want this and this and that." And then we're like, "Yo, we can't can't afford it. You know, we don't really have a budget for this project." So we was like, "Okay, let's just drop it as a video on Swiss Beatbox, and then we're gonna exclude it from the EP." So then we did this, and it was kind of like I don't know, like it kind of killed the vibe a little bit, because for us this was like the most exciting one, because it's like so heavy, but then it has its musical parts, and it couldn't be part of the EP. But then as we were talking about, but now we don't have enough songs for it, then we came up with the idea, what if his records his parts in South Korea, sends it over to me over the internet, and I record my parts in Germany. And we thought, like, this is never going to happen in a proper way, because it's like
two people, two different places.
Yeah, so complicated. But it worked out. So we were adding Breath, which is like the intro song. Do It Again is a single. It's just me alone, and Believe Me is his alone. Then We Alive, we managed to add some stuff he did in South Korea, and I did in Germany. And then High, the last song, is a producer track, and it's his took one of my songs and remixed it and made it way better. And yeah, but both are released now. Like High, I released High last year, a music video of it, and it's on Spotify, and the remix of it is now on the EP. So yeah, so we were adding songs to it, and we actually produced 8 songs, but there's only 7 because we kept one, and the one song that we kept is with Thomas Sacre. And
Ah,
we just felt like it's, for me, this was the best song of the whole EP. But then Sinjo, the manager, was like, yeah, but it doesn't fit to the style of the others. Let's keep it for either another EP, or we just drop it as as a single. So yeah, there's still coming more with his and with Thomas Sacre. Really
wow, man,
soon, I
that's
hope.
that's a huge collab, like crossing continents. That's amazing. You're from Germany. He's from South Korea. Thomas Zachary. Well, that's the new addition to the collab. He's
Yeah.
from Chile. This is absolutely brilliant. How the whole global thing is happening. That's amazing. But now that you mentioned this, how you work on it, I would like to go into the production side, because you're not just a beatboxer, dude. You have also had experiences on the video production end, and you also work with the audio. So how did you come to it? How did all, like, did you just decide that you'd be a music producer, or you'd work on the production like that, or you just started off, or was it
Yeah.
beatboxing that brought you? And what do you use? What's your specific DAW, and so on and so forth?
So my main goal when I joined Swiss Beatbox, I joined Swiss Beatbox in 2013, and back
Right.
then, Pepuni was still like recording with just like a handy cam, like nothing special, just like this backstage shout out stuff. And I was a big fan of it, but I was like, when I want to join it, and I want to fucking improve quality all over the place, audio, video, everything. So
Right.
and back then I was already studying video production. So like my original idea actually was to get a movie director. But since movies in Germany kind of suck, to be honest, like I'm not a big fan.
Except dark.
Yeah, yeah. Now it starts with Netflix and shit. Now,
Dude.
we get sick stuff right now with Netflix.
Yeah.
But back then, when I was studying, there was no such thing. So yeah, like I think after 2 years of studying, I realized I don't want to be in the movie scene of like in the movie production scene of in Germany. I actually wanted to do YouTube and stuff like that. So I first started my own channel, and I produced beatbox videos for beatboxers in Munich, which is a city in South Germany.
Mm.
And it, like, the beatboxing was fine. It was cool, but it wasn't like top notch like Swiss beatbox. But back then, Pepuni reached out to me and was like, "Bro, I just saw this one clip of Phil Harmony. Phil Harmony is a beatboxer from South Germany. Shout out to Phil Harmony. And it's so sick, man. It looks nice, like with all the camera angles, and the audio is cool. How did you do that? And then I start teaching him, and he was kind of overwhelmed. So at the end of this kind of workshop, he's told me, "Yo, what if you just join us and do this stuff for us?" And so I was like, "Yo," I was so stoked. And like, and actually my first idea was like, you guys need a fucking intro. Like every big YouTube channel had an intro back then, and it still has. And so, but Swiss Beatbox didn't have one. So I was like, "Yo, okay, this is my first project." And then like grabbing samples from videos, like from battles. I remember from the like Below back in the days was doing interviews. So some sounds I was picking up from these interviews, and then like putting them all together, and then try to build something out of it. But my skills were really poor back then. I used GarageBand back then, which is like the pre-installed DAW
On
uh,
the
when you
Apple.
when you buy an Apple computer.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but and I spent like two weeks, I think, on this, because I didn't know what I'm doing right now. I just did it, and like I put out like 5 versions, and like rehearsing, sending it back and forth, like to Peponi, to Kilian. Kilian is like the the founder and designer at Swiss Beatbox. And then at one point, both of them were like, "Yo, that's it, man. That's the intro now. That sounds sick, you know." And it's kind of like you can hear it's beatboxing. It has a certain vibe, you know. It has this trumpet melody, which is like really recognizable. So from this point on, we kept using this one. And from this point on, I also was like, okay, this was like my first audio production, you know, like the animation I also did inside, but I did a few before too. But this was like my really first audio production, like mixed by myself, you know, sampled by myself. I also put some sounds by myself inside, and then from this got stuck in my head. Like I want to do audio production now too. You know, I really love this, and I really love to use beatbox sounds. To sample them and then to use them to produce music with it, you know. And from this point on, like I was going really deep inside. I started using Logic, which kind of is like the update of GarageBand, you know. So it was really convenient for me to switch from GarageBand to Logic, but Logic is a professional DAW. And then I even started to go to university to study mixing, but it wasn't a bachelor, it was like a diploma, so it was just 1 year. But I learned a lot of stuff there, and it was just focusing on mixing. And then I was lucky to, like, with Swiss Beatbox, to get to know all the beatboxers, have them at my place, you know, record them, learn how to record, what microphones to use, you know. How I tried and failed and tried again, and then suddenly found my own mixing style, you know. And then also, like, Sinjo, when he joined, he was already a professional sound engineer, you know. Then I kind of picked up some techniques he was doing. Then I also Lyndon J. Do you know this guy?
Yeah, Lyndon J. Yeah,
Like, he's like
I follow him as well.
He's the sound engineer of Reaps One.
Right.
I reached out to him, and like, after, I think it was after Move, when Reaps One released Move, I was so much into this, and not only because of the beatboxing, but I also really enjoyed the way it was produced. And I reached out to Lyndon J, and he gave me a workshop on how to mix in this style, you know.
But does he have like a dissected brain? Because if you want to make something that's Reaps One related, you have to take it out. And you have to go like, okay, I'll put this because Reaps One sounds like this. Okay, he does a lot of 360 sound. He does this. How? I'm sorry, I couldn't figure out. And I was like, what the hell? How is he doing this? The genius is beatboxing, and there's another guy at the back mixing it. It is not easy.
Yeah, crazy, bro.
Easy.
And like Lyndon J actually has a whole different approach. Like, the way he's mixing is totally different to me and Sinjo, because what he's used to do, he's doing all the mixing live. So what he, like, I don't know how he's doing it right now, but I know how he started. He had like a kind of an MPC, and then he was presetting like different presets for the microphone on his knobs. So if he presses like the first button, then he cuts bass. So for example, I don't know, Reaps One is just doing a singing part, just hi-hats, whatever, where there's no bass inside. He presses this knob, and then all bass gets cut, so the rest sounds cleaner. Then on the second knob, he has saturation. So he uses saturation like on the drop, so the drop feels fuller than the rest, you know. And then, like, he has also reverb somewhere, you know. And what he does is then, like, he studies what Reaps One is doing, and then on a live set, when Reaps One is performing, he's controlling all the knobs and all the faders and mixing him live, you know. And because they were rehearsing and practicing so much together, he was also able to do this when he's producing the audio for Reaps One, you know. So he's sitting at his DAW, and then, like, automating everything, you know. So like, okay,
Yeah,
here I
dude.
need a low cut, here I need reverb,
Yeah.
and then he was doing this stuff. And yeah, that's also that's how I started to do it too, because I picked it up from him. He was teaching to me, and I sometimes still do it. For example, I remember I was mixing a piece for Scott Jackson, with a violinist.
Oh yeah,
Um,
he has the duo project in Canada. Yeah.
exactly. And because it was really like what Scott Jackson is doing is really percussive, and it's not too dynamic like a solo beatbox piece. Um, I I was choosing to automate everything like Lyndon J normally does. But then when I produce a song for myself, or like on this EP, all the songs that we have, I was mixing except high. That's what his was mixing, or his. They also have a mastering and mixing engineer named Clay.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, but for these ones, what I do is I cut every sound. So there's a, I don't know, like boom, boom, boom. For example, you would have this beat. So then what I would do is I cut the, I cut the, I cut the, and the. So you have already like four sounds, right? That's four tracks, and
Yeah.
then I put every sound on an individual track, and then I mix every sound individually. So all kicks are mixed a certain way, all basses, all trumpets, all
A,
vocals, all
a proper
snares.
preset. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean that's of course a hard job, because when you have like a, I don't know, the longest song is 3 minutes 50, so that's a lot of cutting work to do, of course.
Yeah,
Like I think on Summer Night it took me like 3 hours just to properly cut everything.
dude.
But the beauty is then if you finish doing it, you can work on it like on a actual song, like normally you would record every instrument
Uh-huh.
individually, so you would have it on a separate track. But here I just cut everything and put it on a separate track, and I have the same setup like if I would mix a normal song, so and that's how you can reach that kind of quality, and then also like for example, I remember on Summer Night, his had a really hard time to to keep to keep his kicks and snares continuously, because there's like so much going on in his part, and it's really hard. Like he uses a lot of breath when he's doing it. So the problem on this was like sometimes his kick was off, it wasn't as punchy, or sometimes his snare wasn't as punchy. But then because I was putting
Hmm.
everything on separate tracks, like sometimes I could replace a kick, so I don't know, like the fourth kick wasn't as punchy as the second one, so I just duplicated the second kick and put it there. So you
Right.
have more consistent performance there. Yeah. So that's how I
Wow,
do
man.
it. Yeah.
No, but that's the thing. You have to be very persistent, be very patient, because everyone has this idea. Ah, no, it's really easy music production. You just no, that's not that's. And as you were saying, you're not only playing an instrument. If you're a producer, in your case or his, Lyndon J, everyone, they're working with human sounds, and it's not the same thing. And to bring perfection, because not all of us are pitch perfect, not all
Yeah.
of us have the perfect note.
Yeah.
My who isn't yours, who, it's not the same.
Exactly.
And we're
Exactly.
all different. Four guitars could probably be tuned in somewhere close, depends on the wood and the strings. But for humans, it's not the same thing at all.
Yeah.
So
That's
hats off to the patience, man. It
even.
takes a lot.
I mean, even if you have the same beatboxer, I can't use the same preset for a kick
Yeah.
on every song. Like his, for example, even though he's really consistent, yeah, we have two different tracks, and on both tracks, his kicks sound totally different, you know, because
Right.
depending on if you do it inward, outward, if you do a bass afterwards, um, after the kick, or if it's just a separate kick, you know, it's sounding totally different. So there's
Yeah.
no preset that you can do. So every time you start mixing a whole new sound, you know, it's not like a MPC sample. You press one sound and the sample sounds the same all the time. Beatboxing is organic and sounds different every time. So it's every time a new challenge as a mixing engineer.
Yeah, that's the thing. So there you just said it, because we were like, "Hey, man, I know how you play a guitar. You're using the Epiphone, right? Great. Okay, your preset's the same." Nah,
Yeah.
for as you said, for beatboxers, it's like, "Oh yeah, you'll have to beatbox again. I have to do the settings again." It's absolutely tough, as you said.
Yeah.
There we have a live question, and we got someone here who wants to ask you, and he's very scared to drop a beat because Madox is in front of him. But anyways, right now we're going to bring Riham on screen, and he's starting to work on production. Well, he's starting as in we're all trying to
Sick.
learn things our way. So, Riham, what's up?
Hey, bro, what's up?
Hey, what's up? Oh, it's Madox. Oh my god. I
How
don't know how. Oh shit.
you doing, bro? You good?
Uh yeah, doing great in quarantine as
Yeah, yeah,
everyone is.
like everybody.
All right. So,
Um
Riham, if you have a question or two, ask Maddox. He's right here. He'll answer to you live.
yeah, I really wanted to know the story about your song Stay because I'm a big fan of it. Both the beatbox solo and loop station version. I don't know how you do that. I'm a big fan of this song. Can you just tell us the backstory of this?
um, the okay, this song is actually was inspired. I was at a place of a friend. He owns a house like on a in a really small town, and it's not the house is not even in his town. It's like outside in the woods somewhere, you know. But and he's a skater. He was a professional skater, and right now he's like organizing workshops for kids. And he's a really genuine guy, and he invites people to his place, have a barbecue, listen to music. And every time when I was there, I felt like I was so disconnected to all the problems I have in my life, because it's so outside, you know, like you barely even have internet there because the connection is so bad there, but it forces you to be so present. um and this inspired me actually to the song, like the if you ever pay attention to the
Yeah,
lyrics.
the lyrics.
Yeah, I'm kind of like in the song I'm kind of inviting the person who's listening to it, I'm
Yeah.
inviting him to come to this house, you know, to whatever you want to do. Yeah, and this was like this whole experience. And then like I actually my the original idea was actually I don't know if you know the Loop Station song, but Stay,
Yeah.
that's
We
also
do.
a Loop
Yeah.
Station song. This was the original song. I was doing a Loop Station song, and I was sitting down writing lyrics for the Loop Station song, and I already had the video for the Loop Station song, and it was heavy production somewhere in the mountains of Austria, and it took a long
By the way,
time.
that also
Thank you, bro. And it took a really long time to produce this video. And I remember I had an agreement with Puni like, yo, you gotta release a video beginning of December. And I was like, holy shit, I can't manage to finish this song until beginning of December. I need to think about something else to release beginning of December. So I was like, yo, what if I do a remix of this song, like a solo beatbox remix of it, you know, and drop this as the first version.
Right.
And I don't know, it's so funny. Like this, I think this was one of the fastest routines ever I created. I literally came up with it in like 10 minutes, and then of course I needed to practice it, but I had a sketch of it in between 10 minutes, and yeah, the lyrics is the same, but the rest is like pretty different to the Loop Station song. And then I recorded it. We made a simple video compared to the other, and then I dropped this one. And ever since, everyone thinks the Loop Station is the Loop Station version is the remix, and this is the original song. But
Yeah,
That's what it.
actually,
Yeah,
It's
that's
just-
yeah, exactly.
and it's also, you know, the also funny thing is like people love the solo version way more than the Loop Station, and I'm happy about it because I'm more into solo beatboxing, and I feel like I put way more focus on my solo stuff than on my Loop Station. So I'm really happy with it, but I didn't expect it because the Loop Station video is like way bigger production and stuff like that, you know. But I really enjoy that people love this one. Yeah. So
Oh,
like
you get
yeah, and
you
your
get two sides.
solo one is
and like
your solo one is like
so when it comes to
absolutely EDM.
sorry.
Your solo one of stay is like I'm listening to EDM. Just so organic.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Yeah. Yeah, and it's like I don't know, like I was using like when I came up with the idea back then I was using a lot of like lip oscillation, like the one that Gene also is doing. And I had this new snare I really wanted to use in a song, and it kind of came so naturally then, you know. I had this idea for the melody, and the rest was just like this was the original idea, and the rest was just like freestyling and trying and yeah. That's how I came up
Man.
with the
There
song.
you go. A complete
Right.
back history about Stay. So Riham, if there is a certain sound that you want to work on, or if you would like to drop a beat, now's a good chance. Don't be shy.
I
Go
Can I
go.
just,
Madox is here.
do I have
Start.
snare? Like, is it happening?
Oh shit!
Is it happening?
Do it one more time. Oh damn, bro! That sounds different to mine, but it sounds sick.
Oh, yeah. Everyone is different, as you said.
Do it again. Do it again and put it in a beat. Put it in a beat.
Oh damn! It's
That's what
it kind of sounds like you do like right.
Yeah,
You have-
and
you have-
I guess
you have
my
more-
headphone
you
has
have
issue.
more- you have more like this. It sounds like you do the sound of Trung Bao.
Without the pressure, I guess.
Yeah. Oh damn. Yeah. It sounds different, bro. It's sick. It's sick though.
There
Like
you
I got
go.
a sound.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Fuck.
A bit
use it.
sharper to the edge on the side. That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
dude, keep using it, man. That's sick.
Thanks to you. Thanks to your sound. I got a new one.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Thank you, Riham. Well, thank you for giving your time. And there you go. You
Thank
worked
you.
on the sound as well. So yeah. All right. Peace out, Riham. See you. Take care. Wow, man. There you go. So everyone has the different. I can't do it. I'm just.
Oh,
I'm-
can you do this?
yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's like a Trungbao thing. Like,
Yeah, and that but what Riham was doing, I think he did, and then the cuff snare. So
oh, I just did it. Shit. No. But it's. Oh, I have to cut it off, right?
yeah.
Oh, see. That went dry.
Wow. That's so like I feel like compared to like this one, you have more focus on the cuff snare, but when you do the Okay, now I can't do it.
You're doing the inward or the outward?
What, the cup snare?
Yeah, right now. But I was doing no.
So this is out, but when I
Yeah.
do that's in.
Oh, so it's kind of like this at the same time. It's like
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, yeah, but
Man.
but you know, like when you do a rhythm shot,
Right.
a rhythm shot is kind of inward, but you don't breathe in, right?
Right. It's
So
kind of
that's
like
the same. That's the same. Like,
damn it! I just got it. Yeah.
yeah, but that's the rehab version now.
Oh, I get stuck when I do something right like before, I can't end up doing that. Yeah,
Shit.
it's just it needs some
Yeah.
work.
You
Thank you
gotta
so much, Sensei. Thank you very much.
gotta work. Yeah, man, improve it and teach people how to do it. Because
Definitely. You just taught us. Riham got that. I just got it from you. I never did this before.
yeah,
So I have to work on it.
you own snare now.
Shit. So I was asking Gene if you could teach me, and he taught me that I just couldn't pick it up. Then he does this 80s snare.
Yeah. Yo, bro, actually, I tried to learn this particular snare too, but then I ended up doing this, which is
It's more like a very wet, like a push, like a push. No. How do you?
yeah, yes, and it also has a lot of bass inside. So like when you do it on a mic on stage, it's like it sounds like you do a kick and a snare at the same time.
Right.
That's why it's super nice. But it's funny. Like I tried to do the snare that Gene does, and I ended up doing something totally different. But now it's
Yeah.
my own snare. You know, like I showed it to Gene. I was like, "Yo, bro, does it come close to his snare?" He's like, "No, but bro, it's sick." You know, kind of like Rehab right now. He's like, "Yo, I tried to do your snare," and I was like, "Dude, that's not my snare, but it sounds sick. Keep doing it." You know.
Man. That's
or
how it is.
like-
That's how it is.
Or like MB14 was doing a beatbox workshop at Beatbox Camp,
Right.
and he was explaining the TF snare, and I still can't do. It's kind of like the PF snare, but instead of saying P, you say T. And
So you can't do the T and F at the same time.
yeah. So
right.
when I try to do it, it sounds like
Dude, that's good. Because no, it's like a hollow pipe. When you're hitting it, the sound inside kind of bounces. That's what you just did.
yeah, but you know, like I tried to do it, and I couldn't do it like MB14 is doing it, but I created a new sound by trying to copy a sound, you know. And it's like, whoa, shit. And I was like, bro, you just teach me a new sound. It was like, no, I didn't. That's something else. But it was like, yeah, but you inspired me because you tried to teach me something and I couldn't pull it off. But I came up with something new, you know? And like that's the beauty of copying. You know, you fail in copying, but then you create your own way to do it. And then
Well,
you sound.
Yeah, but there you go. You just have this is what everyone needs to understand. When you do these things, when you're trying to attempt it, your anatomy is way different from the next individual. Whoever you're trying to do the beat from. And by doing so, as you said, mine sounds a bit different from Riham's. Riham's sounds different from yours. Yours sounds different from Gene's. There are 4 different variations of the same sound.
Exactly.
So it's just freaking amazing.
It's kind of like,
Absolutely mind-blowing.
Justin Timberlake, when he started singing, he tried to copy Michael Jackson, but he doesn't sound like Michael Jackson. He's just
him and Jason Derulo. There's another. Jason Derulo does that a lot, but even though it's not beatboxing, but still, you heard Jason Derulo, right? Derulo.
I know him, but I don't have a particular song in my mind right now. But I know Jason Derulo. Jason Derulo.
No, neither do I. I don't follow all his songs.
Yeah.
But now he does a lot of those, like Neo, Jason Derulo, and Justin Timberlake has a very Michael Jackson-ish feel to them.
Yeah,
So does
also
Bruno
Chris
Mars.
Brown.
Anyways, guys, Chris Brown moves literally, and everyone used to think that he's doing a lot of Michael Jackson thing. But there you go, because you inspire the next generation or the generation after. Every whatever question you have, this is the right time to ask now because we're at the podcast. So I will ask Maddox about a couple of advice before we go to the part where we bring one more individual here, so they can either drop a beat or ask a question. But yes, Bhasha's here. Oh, we actually have from Ellie. Finally, I get to pronounce his name properly. What's your advice for smaller channels to improve their production value? Because you have worked on it and you have upped the game for Swiss Beatbox at most of the work that you've done for them.
Yeah. Um, that sounds strange, but I would say when you're a small channel, try to not focus on production value in the first place, because production value is something you can achieve a certain level on a low budget. But when you hit a certain point, then you need to add budget to it to make it bigger. Like for example, the last Grand Beatbox battle,
Right.
something like that. This I never would be able to achieve without any budget. But then, what makes you different as a channel from other channels is not the production value, but the difference in content what you do. For
Right.
example,
Yeah.
Grand Beat, compare Grand Beatbox battle to World Championship. Um, why why did Grand Beatbox battle grow so fast and so big? Because it has a totally different approach. On Grand Beatbox battle, the focus was more on the shows. Like, I mean, the elimination actually is called show. Like, we call it showcase. We don't actually call it elimination.
Right.
And it's way longer. So instead of spamming crazy beats, crazy battle beats, it's more for like people on stage have time to explore their style, to show it to the audience. And that's how we gave a stage to people like Codfish, or to people like Dilo.
Mm-hmm.
Their style were just um, more into like the direction that or the ideas that we had, in comparison to World Champs. World Champs really focused on really heavy battle styles, like Alem has, like Napalm has. So it was just a different platform, but the same concept, battles. But because there was nothing else like Grand Beatbox Battle was growing really fast.
Right.
And the same as like with artist weeks. Art there wasn't such a thing like artist weeks anywhere else. So when we start doing it, it was blowing up. Like, I think the biggest one was with Napalm, when we produced an album for Napalm and made
Right. Lips.
exactly. That was a huge success. So what I can suggest to people who have a platform and to try to build up a platform, don't try to copy others, because you don't have the same budget as them. Like, you can't compete with Swiss Beatbox right now, except you have a sponsor or like investor that can put the same amount of budget into it that we have right now.
Mm-hmm.
But try to do something that we don't do yet, that no one
Right.
else does right now. For example, you doing podcasts right now. Not too many beatboxers doing podcasts right now, and that's why it's so exciting. You know that's a different level. It's not you don't try to copy Swiss Beatbox, but you try to add something that we don't do yet. You know I mean, okay, we started doing podcasts now, but your podcast is so different to ours also. There's more interaction um, with with the people who watch it. You invite people inside of it. Um, you read the comments. I can read the comments.
Yeah, like someone asked a really weird question right now. He probably hasn't heard of you, so it's all right. If you want to know Obside, if that's your name, you can watch this podcast fully again and follow Madox in the description. That's how it works. So do check it out.
Right, who's Madox? Yeah,
Good timing.
yeah, so or like Swish Beatbox. Everyone knows him. His approach
Yeah.
was to take the shit out of us. You know, like everyone else like who started to grow a platform, he tried to compete with the production value of us. But he was like, fuck production value, I just make memes now. And he started to grow really fast. And I think he would be really big now if he would be more consistent. But as you can
He
see,
hasn't done in a while. Eon, right?
yeah,
Eon. Yeah.
yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean, he's more of an artist, he's not really a business guy.
Right.
So he's more focusing now on beatboxing, performing and stuff. But now a lot of platforms are inspired by Swish Beatbox and started their
Mhm.
own meme pages. Like there's beatbox memes, there's Shifty, there's beatbox
Beatbox
bottle.
bottle. Yeah.
Exactly. There's all these platforms, and they got inspired by Swish Beatbox, obviously. So if you are a channel and you try to build a channel, um, try to look into other scenes and compare them to beatboxing, and then see why you can fill gaps, like Swish did. Memes. That's not He didn't create this term memes, but he
But he did something good, by the way. I'm sorry for interrupting. The What he did actually helped people who do not know much about beatboxing to understand. Oh, wait, what is he talking about? Oh, wait, okay, so this is an actual beatboxer. Let me check him out. So someone's
Yeah,
laughing at it, and suddenly they find more about Maddox, or they find more about his or someone, and
exactly.
it actually generates more curiosity in a way. Depends what type of meme it is or whatever the action is.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah,
And gives and also for me, like when I see a new meme by Beatbox Bottle nowadays, it kind of makes me proud, because I understand the joke, because I am part of the scene. Like
right.
when I show the meme to my girlfriend, she doesn't understand the meme because she's not watching battles. She's
Yeah,
not
but we
following.
we get the inside jokes. We get a lot of like, hey, I see what you did there,
And
and
like
yeah,
these memes, I feel like these memes are connecting us more. Or
yeah,
like kind of like the term ash. Every beatboxer knows what's ash. No one knows
man.
what's ash, but everyone knows what's ash.
That yeah. When we get asked, Bhaya is brother in Bangladesh. Bhaya, what's Ash? Ash. No, what is it? Ash.
Yeah, it's
And
self.
that's what we end the answer right there. Like, what is going on? Man, that was something.
Yeah. So
Ellie pointed out something to what you were saying, piggybacking on that. Codfish, I guess, also combined gaming and beatboxing content. So another way to
yeah,
go.
exactly. I think he started gaming, right? He didn't start with beatboxing. He started with gaming first, and then implemented beatboxing into it. And like this, he had a way bigger audience in the first
Right,
place.
right.
And then he showed beatboxing to the bigger audience, and that's how he got big. And this was also a really unique way. Or like maybe you guys know Osilis, the
Yeah,
beatbox
he
from
does the Omegle. So wasn't it him or
yeah,
Mr.
he did
Wobbles does it?
Omegle. He also did like those street pranks where he
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah, yeah.
dressing up as a nerd, right? And then like
And he's like,
taking
I have a question for you.
yeah,
All this.
yeah, or like like really nerd. Yo, what's up? You want to hear my beatboxing? And people look at him and like, yo, no way he can do something cool, But then he drops a sick beat and they're like, yo, blown away, and that's like funny content, and like
Yeah.
I know, I actually know people, they're not following beatboxing, and they never heard of it before, but they watch Osiris because it's fun content, um
But based on what you're saying, once again, see, when we, like you mentioned your girlfriend, when we are doing beatboxing, we know what's happening in the content place, beatbox bottle, swish, everything. Then you have Ozilus, right? Then you have he was there during the Vine days, Marcus Perez,
yeah,
and he would do his small bits, and
TikTok.
Yeah, and this other guy, I just suddenly forgot his name. He was part of the American scene. He does a lot of beatbox videos on Instagram.
Yeah, I know.
Ah, forgot his name. Damn it. He just did one with Jason Derulo as well. I just forgot his name completely. But yeah, that's the thing. I
Spencer
think
X.
this is, huh?
Spencer X.
Spencer X. Yes, that's him. That's him. That's the guy. That's the guy. Yeah.
Yeah, or 80 Fits.
80 Fits, man. I was bummed out when he said this is my last yeah, and he stopped as far as I remember. I haven't checked his channel after that. That was
Yeah, oh, I saw that too. Yeah, Spencer
yeah,
X,
but
80 Fits. Yeah, all these people. I mean, they are their own platforms, and they have whole totally different approach. You know, and like some people say, yeah, but I don't want to be like Spencer X because Spencer
mhm.
X is not a real beatboxer. But then I must say,
How
okay,
do you even end up saying that? Why would you even say that?
yeah, I understand where it's coming from because he's not as skillful as Napalm or Alem or Darny, you know.
Right.
So, but he gets more attention than them. So beatboxers kind of feel like, oh, that's unfair, you know, because he's less skillful but gets more attention. But the quality of his content is that what it's is what counts in in his particular case. You know, it's not about the beatbox skill. It's more about the entertainment factor that he delivers. You know,
Yeah.
but when you as a beatboxer be like, okay, but I don't want to be like him. I mean, you can do the same thing that he does, but practice, but actually try to also be top notch in beatboxing. You know, I mean, if it would be a Darny, like Darny actually started to do fun videos too. You know, but he also has the skill to get the support from the beatbox scene. So that's
Right.
why the beatbox scene is not bashing him, you know, for being so popular. So
I remember the one he did with Gene. He's like, "Hey Gene, I got a beat. You want to hear this?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah, drop it." And he starts beatboxing, and
yeah,
someone splashes water on his face. And it's like, "Nice, nice beat, man." He's like, "Thank you." And goes-
yeah,
I'm
man.
like,
Or like his last music videos, you know, where he's like singing into a fan, you know,
yeah.
using strange like a beer bottle and
But he doesn't need to do it. But it's all right. If he wants to make the stuff on his channel, he does. But we know in generally the community knows how good of a beatboxer he is.
yeah, and
He's in
that's why the scene supports him.
yeah,
But the fact that he's now focusing more on entertainment um, in his on his videos, that's how he reaches a bigger audience.
right, definitely. All right, so we have the last question, and that question is here visually. And we have another beatboxer who wants to ask you a question, and he's very intrigued by how you work your camera, and you're always around, so he always wanted to ask you something. So let's invite Bhasha on screen.
Okay.
Hello, Bhasha. Hello.
Yo, what's up, bro?
Oh, hello, everyone. Hello,
He just
Pandora.
realized.
Hello, Madox.
Hello.
How you doing?
No, I was really in a rush. So, hello, Madox. Welcome to Beats with Baksho.
What's up,
Wow,
man?
he's inviting you to my
And
podcast.
I, yeah, yeah, in the podcast.
Thank you. Anyways.
I'm a really big fan of yours, especially your camera work.
Oh,
Not only beatbox, but also the camera work.
thank you, bro.
Because I am also a student of journalism and mass communication. So we have photojournalism, videography courses.
Yeah, sick, man.
So I had a question. That how can we use the rule of thirds doing like very fast movement in videography? So how can we use the rule of thirds there?
Um, okay, so because I think no one else except us two knows what the rule of third is.
I
The rule
do. Yeah.
you do. The rule of third is instead of putting people in the middle of a frame,
Yeah.
they put it
And he's
in
explaining.
1/3
Yeah.
of the frame. frame, so it's like it just feels more convenient because it's more interesting for the eye if you don't put it in the most important stuff into the middle, but in one third. Could also could also do this. So like when you watch like documentaries, most of the times they look like this, right? Yeah. So anyways, I mean, for me, I was practicing this so much that it's just happening naturally. You know, when I shoot something, I don't think about I need to use the rule of third right now. I just do it. You know, because for me it feels so naturally, but also because I was practicing it a lot.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
does.
like at the beginning, I was like, okay, is this in the left or in the right third? Is it is it the, is it correctly? Like when I this was, by the way, this was like one of my really first cameras that I was using. I even like you can put like the thirds on your screen so you see them. I was using
Yeah,
that.
the grid lines.
Yeah, the grid, exactly. So I always could see where's the left third, right third, whatever it is. But then as I was more experienced, it was just happening. Like my like I was studying it so much that for my eye, it felt wrong if
Mm.
it's not in the left or the right third, and then
Oh,
I
it
I
comes
took
like naturally.
exactly, and then and that's how, and yeah, you need to reach this level. So like if for example when we shoot at GBB, all the guys I'm shooting with, they are experienced on a certain level, so they know all these
Hmm.
basic rules, and they have it so much into them that when there's a situation happening on stage and they need to react fast, they still are able to adjust, you know. So yeah, it's just go like when I started camera work, I actually started to work for like event wise, I started to work for WWE, like wrestling.
Yeah,
Maybe you know
Oh
that.
wow.
we had a talk about that.
And I was practicing a lot there, like on events. You know, how is it in a live
Hmm.
situation, you know, like I mean when you're shooting a movie, you have a lot of time to set up the camera, you know. You have the chance to shoot multiple takes. But then if you do a live event,
Hmm.
and if you miss this moment, the moment is gone, right? So you need to be really
Yeah,
experienced in what you do.
exactly.
So also for me important is always try to limit yourself with your equipment, on something that you can handle, you know. For example, that's not the camera I use anymore for GBB, but the camera I use for GBB is even smaller than this one, you know. I wouldn't use a red or
Yeah,
Ali.
I have seen.
I wouldn't use a huge camera because I wouldn't be able to handle it in a live situation, you know. For me it's more important to
Hmm.
be flexible in a live situation, than to be super high end quality, you know. So I have a compromise there, but I mean for YouTube it's fine, you know. You don't see a big difference between those cameras, because YouTube reduces the quality anyways. Yeah, so at this point you need to see, okay, a way you can make a compromise, and what's more important, you know. And then you try to focus on the most important things first. And in this case, the most important thing is when I shoot GBB, I need to catch every moment, you know. If I miss any moment on stage, people will be disappointed when they watch the video, because like, oh damn, he did so, like Dilo, when he was battling Collapse at Beatbox Camp, he did a
Mm.
backflip on stage. Imagine I would miss this moment,
Yeah,
you
he
know?
did.
Like this
Yeah.
would be horrible. And now imagine I have like a camera and like it's super heavy to move or
Yeah,
whatever, and then like, oh shit, he's doing a backflip. Oh, I'm too late, you know. So that's why I have a camera where I'm like super flexible all the time, but still have a certain amount of quality. Yeah. So also like for everyone else who's producing, um, first comes the content and then the production quality, the production value. You know, don't try to like and this is like a typical mistake people do when they start producing video content. They first think about what kind of camera they want to use, what kind of light setup, you know, and then like, oh damn, bro, a friend of mine has a red Scarlett, and we can have it really cheap, and he has all these fancy, expensive lenses, you know, let's shoot a video. And then you are on set and you don't know how to use this camera, and then you end up having a shitty video, you know, because this camera was just too big for this production. So and we also like we also didn't think about, okay, what kind of scenery do we want to use. We were more focusing on the technology, you know, but technology is not the most important. The most important is the actual content.
All right, Pasha.
Yeah.
So I guess you got your answer there, and
Oh,
hopefully
yeah.
we're gonna get some kick-ass stuff from you.
Yeah. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. Oh,
All right.
talking of camera work, I would like to give props to Shanto Bhai, aka Beatboxo Bhai. I have seen some great camera works by him in the shoutouts and in the Swiss Beats videos.
Bro, you're lagging.
You're lagging. I can't
Can you,
hear.
can you repeat the last sentence?
I think he has the internet. He's probably mentioning. Hel- Shunta,
Okay,
can you hear us?
can you hear now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear now?
Yes, yes. You know, if you're having a
Yeah,
problem, turn
I
off the
can.
camera. We can still hear your audio. There is a
Okay, no,
there is a
I was
option
telling
there.
that I want to give props to
Yeah. All right. Well, that's being a
Okay,
problem.
put it into the
Okay.
comment section, maybe.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Turn off the camera, or else you can just write it in the comment section.
I don't know what's happening
Can you
with
hear?
my.
It's okay. So just speak. It's okay. Just speak, or else we can talk later. It's not a big deal. All right, Bhasha. Thank you. I guess it's being a lot of lags and glitches.
Okay, yes, I can.
okay. It's okay. Just speak. Or else.
Okay, I'm listening now.
Yeah. Okay. Let's speak
Are
one
you
more
listening
time,
now?
or else. Yeah. Good. Let's go.
Okay, are you listening now?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we're having a lot of problems here. It's not a big deal. Anyways, you can just
But
write it.
yo, Basta, if you still hear us, just put a link of this guy in the comment section so we can check him out. If you want to give him a shout out, I think he was giving a shout out to a guy who produces videos.
Yeah, he's talking about me, the other name that I have.
Yo, I
Anyways,
didn't even hear the
no,
name. Yeah,
because
bro.
you're not used to my nickname, so,
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude, talking about production quality, dude, the last Bangladesh beatbox battle, I was fucking impressed, man. It looks so great, and like the venue,
Thanks,
like
man.
holy shit, like in this, like what was it, like in a shopping
showcase.
center or something, right?
Shopping center, yeah.
Yeah, but it looks so sick because there's like multiple areas where people can watch from simultaneously, and yeah, and like the graphics and all that stuff. It looks sick, bro. It looks way
Well-
better than any other national event right now.
Well, we tried. It was still a long chase. I didn't do the production for that. It was Clapperboard content, and they've been helping us for a while. Glitch and Clapperboard content, and this is the co-founder. He's saying it sucks, honestly.
No. I think like okay, maybe you are too much into it. That's why you see all the mistakes. But I mean I'm just a fan watching it, and for me it looks great. Like, and I was watching the Gene video. I was watching Ahmed Napalm performing, and all the pictures you took, and it looks proper. And I mean that's the first time you did it in such a big way, right?
We tried this the year before, but the production quality was way different from. Yeah, it kind of like we started learning from what was before, and so on and so forth. So what we gave in 2019 was something we didn't expect.
Yeah, no, but
So
it's sick. I mean, look at us at Swiss Beatbox. I I started producing GBB in 2013, and I think 2019 was the first year where I felt like, okay, we are proper now. You know, it's proper video. Like there's nothing that no major issues anymore. And so it took us 6 years to reach a level where we were like, okay, we're getting good, you know. So, and you made the same step in 2 years, you know. So that's sick, bro.
well, we're to be honest, we're learning from all of you guys as well. You know, as you know, this is
Yeah,
how
but
it goes.
I mean, I also didn't invent um how to produce an event, you know. I was watching WWE, you know, how they do it, you know. I was like, yo, they have these reaction cameras, I need to do
Yeah.
that. You know, they have the zooms when like something crazy happens, they zoom in. I did that too in beatbox battles. By the way, I think in beatbox battles it's even looks even sicker than than
It's a
WWE.
different thing
Yeah.
altogether. It just makes you
like
move,
like
man.
like the side info. I was in Orlando, where
Florida.
WWE, yeah, in Florida, Orlando.
Right. Yeah.
WWE is training the rookies there, so like upcoming WWE superstars,
Hmm.
and they also they also train some camera guys there. So I got to know one guy there, and I was talking to him about some certain production things, and he was teaching me that, for example, they also like do, you know, like these punch in zooms.
Hmm.
And he told me they do this so that, for example, if the one wrestler is slapping the other like in the ring, you know, and then he does the zoom in punch, because of the movement, like the synchronized move, like the punch and the zoom in is synchronized. It just feels like it was way heavier, you know, because
Oh
it's
yeah,
more,
you can
it's way
physically feel
more,
it.
yeah, it feels heavier, right? It's like, and I was like, yo, that's, I think that that could work also for beatbox battles, you know. So like if the drop comes in, you know, and then like on the drop you have the
Yeah.
zoom, you know, so visually you can feel the drop too, you know. So yeah, I kind of like, also I was inspired by a different production, and I just implemented it into beatboxing. So I didn't fully came up with it by myself, I just put it in a different context.
But that's the thing, and I have to give props to you because each time I would see any of the videos on the shoutouts for SBX or the battles, and I would always see the zzz or something like that, or a movement when it's as if the cameraman or whoever you're trying to direct, or if you when you're working with it, you know exactly how the routine's going to go, and he goes like, you know, something like that. Your
Yeah,
hand moves with the beat. So I
yeah,
do that on the shoutouts.
but
So
that's
each time I
also
know, yeah.
but
Sorry,
that's
go on.
also because I'm an experienced beatboxer and I know how musical structure works,
Exactly.
you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I
And you
wouldn't
know
be able.
when's heavy, when it's light, when you need to move, when you don't need to move, and it kind of gets to you though. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's also like when I hire new guys to produce videos, like at GBB and stuff, they need to be experienced in music too. You know, if they have
Right.
no idea about musical structure, they never be able to just guess when the drop is happening. You know,
Right.
so
Imagine that.
and like
The
like
count, the bass, everything.
yeah, like on like these people know when the drop is coming, so they're like, okay, okay, bam, and then zoom in, you know. And sometimes I even like there's like synchronized zoom, so you see like one camera is zooming in, and like while the zoom is happening, I cut into another, and then you have like a zoom transition, and it's like, holy shit, they did like two camera guys did the same movement at the same time, you know, and just happened that it looks like a sick transition, you know, but it was organic, it wasn't digital.
Do you guys feel like that? Bro. And he's like, bro, we
Yeah,
got that shit
like
up, bro.
sometimes when stuff like this happens, you know, I just export like this piece and send it to them on WhatsApp and be like, "Yo, dude, how did you come up with this one?" You know, it's like, yeah, shit, that's crazy, man. And we're like jerking off on each other's pictures.
Dude. But yeah, we're jerking with the camera then. Wow, man. But wow, we've had I'm truly grateful because we not only had a total beatbox podcast, we had a lot of production advices from you. And I hope like Bhasha and everyone who came in and yeah, I guess that works on that. Sounds a bit weird though. I hope everyone learned something today. Sorry?
That is a sexual touch. Sexual.
Yeah. Very central. Those who have learned it and got the knowledge from Madox, I hope you put it to positive use because that's what we do. And I believe it also helps us in a very mental, like a positive situation. I know beatboxing helps me mentally. It gives me a lot of boost of positivity. And I know, you know what? You don't get it. It's all right. But I like what I'm doing. And when I'm talking to you, when I'm talking to other beatboxers, I'm like, that alien language, you get it? I'm in a good place. And it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. I'll tell you one of the best things that I really enjoyed. Two things that was really amazing you were doing. Actually, no, there was three things, but out of many things in Korea. Sorry, what am I saying? In Taiwan, was we were all around the place, but you were on the right side of the stage, and I think the Korean friends and everyone they were there. You know, everyone's like going like South Korea. Hey, like I'll join in. I remember that. Man, that was something. And
yeah, you know, because I feel like South Korea is like is France, the France of Asia. You know what I mean? Because there's so many skillful beatboxers in South Korea, and South Korea is growing so fast. So I was like, yo, France has a chant, you know, like they sing Ale, Ale, but
and the ooh la la, and yeah.
yeah, but South Korea doesn't have it. So I was like, yo, we need a chant for South Korea.
Man, that was just dope. And remember, was it Rofu, right? It was Rofu doing the Titanic thing.
Yeah, oh my god.
You guys ended up doing that in front of the elevator. That was dope. And the guys coming in next to you and
Yeah. Bro, these guys, man, they're my favorites, like comedians.
amazing.
In the beatbox
They
scene.
didn't at one point they didn't care. They're like, screw this. I'll get down and every night in my dreams and go straight to the crowd and start singing. We're like, what? What are you doing?
Man,
Oh,
like
son.
they were applying for GBB for the tag team battle, and bro, I was close to cry when I saw that they didn't make it because I want to see them at GBB so bad, but unfortunately, like yeah, this like and at this point, it's hard to say they weren't good enough. It's more like the rest was just so mind blowing, you know, that
They
it's
were
like
good.
fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's too many crazy tag teams, so it was hard to. Yeah, so I had tears in my eyes. I was like, no, I wanted to see them so bad at GBB. Anyways,
Did you
maybe
did
next
you
year.
did you see a video they put up regarding GBB?
No?
You didn't see that video? Oh, dude, I'll share it with you. It's Rofu basically, and they're like, you know, packing their bags to go to GBB, and suddenly GBB is canceled. They're like in the middle of the street.
No way.
Yeah, I'll send you the video. I was laughing my ass off. I'm like, what? And it was very, very Rofu. It was very that. What's his name? I forgot his name.
I don't remember their names. I just know
Shit, I
Rolf.
forgot. He was
Yeah.
the funny one, man. He was the entire time. Anyways,
Yeah.
man, Maddox.
That's like the crazy guy and the serious guy, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's like a thing. The other guy's like very serious, and then this guy's like, my God, it's amazing. I've had some of the best moments of my life over there, and super grateful to the beatboxing
Yeah, bro,
community.
I miss Asia Champs. It was, you know, and also for me, why Asia Champs was so special for me was because I went there with zero pressure. No, you know,
Oh yeah, you just
when I,
chilled.
when I go to
In most
GBB,
cases.
I have all the pressure, production, you know, and like some people even told like I was talking to some people at Beatbox Camp, and at Beatbox Camp my job is a little bit more chill, so I have time to talk to people. And some people told me yo, bro, I thought you're super arrogant after GBB. I was like, what? Why? Yeah, because you're always like like super serious, walking around and telling people what to do. I was like, yeah, I know, but that's my job, and it's like I'm focused and stressed, and yeah, I might seem arrogant, or I don't know, mm, s- super serious guy, but that's just a job. So, but then at Asia champs, I just went there as a tourist, kind of, just watching and having fun, chanting in the crowd. I lost my voice after Asia champs for like 2 weeks.
It was worth it. Everything was worth it.
Yeah,
I
man.
think at one point you guys were sitting outside. The police even came and they're like, "You're making a lot of sound." I don't remember. That's what I've heard.
Yeah,
But
we made like a drinking game in
yeah,
front of the hotel.
right in front of the main gate. Yeah, you, Tatsuaki, everyone was sitting right there. I think we just came back. Um, uh, well, I do have to thank you for something, and we pulled it off thanks to you as well. I observed what you were doing during the Asian champs, and taking pictures. You were taking pictures of the. Sorry, you were doing the videos, with the which you will be, which they added a CG in the background, and they're coming with the intros and everything. So I observed it, and then we talked about it. Me and Hanex, the co-founder of Beatbox Bangladesh as well, and then I talked with you. You helped us understand what should be done, and we ended up doing the intros for our BattleBox BD 2019.
Yeah,
So I believe there's so much that we learn, we do, and as you were going back to the example about you, Gene, and everything, it's kind of like a knowledge sharing thing, and we're super grateful. So I thank you so much for that, Madox, and you came through right before the battle, and we're like, oh, this is the distance. Oh, that's how the lights should be, and
yeah,
it was sick. We were like, wow, man, we did it. Look, we did an entry for all. This is amazing, man. Look, that felt so good. It felt so amazing.
yeah,
It was a
bro.
wrestling moment. It was just
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, that was amazing, man.
yeah,
But
man.
thank you.
Yeah, that's full circle. And then after I saw your stuff, I got inspired too, because it it was just so different, such a different approach, but so amazing, And I remember how we reached out to you, like, bro. That's the videos look so sick, man.
You did. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
Anyways, man, I would love to talk about so much, but my last request to you would be if you could drop a beat for everyone who's here.
Oh, okay.
Let's do this. And
Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed my podcast. Here's a little bit of beatboxing.
Dude, that's absolutely mind blowing. Do check this out. Madox even did this at the German Beatbox Championship, when he won the last time as well. And those who do not know, he's the 2 times champ from Germany. And yeah, all right. And also, announcement once again, he mentioned it, and those who joined in very late. Recently, Madox and his released an EP. It's called Future Voice, that is available, and it's on Spotify everywhere. The links are in the description below. Give it a listen, and I'm sure that has a lot of stuff to do. If you would like to add to it, Madox.
Yeah, and I mean that's not even all. The EP is now yet out, but not the music videos. So this Friday, there's a music video of "Fly Away" on Swiss Beatbox, and a month from now, there's also gonna be a music video on "Summer Night," and on "Breath." "Breath" is the intro song. I mean, he's gonna produce a video, so that's gonna be on TikTok and everywhere. So
Right. Do
gonna
check
be
it out. Do
exciting.
check it out. This is amazing. Like I said a while back, collabs between so many different countries and the beatboxing. We were mentioning this in with Firebras, Dougie Fresh, and everyone. Beatbox knows no boundaries, knows no genders, knows nothing. It exists. We all love it. We share it. We do it, and that's how we communicate. So, Maddox, extremely grateful for all the advices, for all the time that you give, and it's amazing how just something we all love can bring all of us together. And also a big shout out once again because of how you've done your production. As I mentioned a while back, we have learned a lot. So, and I'm sure a lot of new beatboxers and enthusiasts learned a lot more from you today. And hopefully something positive comes out
Yeah,
of it.
I hope everyone can take something out of this podcast. And bro, thank you for inviting me. We were planning this for weeks.
Yeah.
And there was just some troubles with EP and stuff, but finally we could make it. And I really enjoyed, man. And you're such a genius, bro. You're like great host,
Too.
man.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Really grateful. Thank you
Was
so much.
really, if it didn't feel like an interview, it was just like chatting with a friend of mine. So
Thanks, man. Bless you. Well, what? Danke schön, right? Yeah,
yeah,
that's how it should be.
petition, bro.
I'll tell you, but that in Bangla though, it's dhonnobad.
Dhonnobad.
Yeah, dhonnobad means thank you.
It's kind of like you ask a question and I'm like, don't know, but I don't
Oh
know,
man! But you remember what you said in the during the shout out, right? Jos. It was Jos Beshi Jos. Tomra onek Jos.
Beshi
You said
Jos?
like you said Tomra onek Jos. This is Maddox from
Tom Moronic Jos.
Yeah, it means you guys are cool.
Yeah. Tom Moronic Jos. Don't know, but
All right, Maddox, I'll be seeing you in just a little bit, but for now, we'll be saying goodbye. This is the end of the podcast, but once again, super grateful. Everyone's really grateful, and please keep doing what you're doing because what you love doing, we love that as well. And you inspire a lot of amazing, through your amazing work, a lot of amazing. So hopefully, something good would come out of it. I've learned a new sound thanks to you, so let's work on it. Hopefully, so catch you in a bit. And right now, this was, of course. Peace out to Madox. Much love to the brother. Yeah. And make sure you just follow him and make sure you know what to do. Madox will be right here in the links. It's always there. So this is BeatBaksho signing out from the 27th episode of Beats with Baksho.